This starts my favorite 4-week period at McDonald's, because now through March 17th at least, they have Shamrock Shakes. I am Mark Stewart, candidate for governor and good eating. I want to talk about green and greed. And they're both related, and they're both good. Greed to too many people doesn't sound good. Especially in my Democrat Party, greed must be inherently a bad thing. Folks, greed is natural, and greed leads to good. Greed can be controlled, and Judeo-Christian ethic has done a very good job over the eons of controlling greed for good all around. But even without that backstop, look at what our natural desire to have more gets us. It gets us all this. Without greed, you don't have inventors. Without greed, you don't have financiers. Without greed, you don't have marketers. Without some sort of greed, you don't have people to produce what all these good ideas and good financing have begotten. Capitalism is a wonderful tool. Greed is a component of it. Capitalism is what has created all other isms for the last 3,000 years. You can't fund all your separate philosophies without more than just sustenance. That's what we had until capitalism flourished. This world was just getting by. Capitalism allowed humanity to get by with more, to be able to think and plan and do and revel in God's creations. We don't want to stifle that. Too many people in my party want to tax the rich. Not because the rich have done anything evil, but because the rich are rich and there's some sort of imbalance. I think it generally is a proper imbalance. Rich get rich, unless they have big trust funds. Rich get rich because they do good for other people. They are producing things that others want. They're selling those things at or even below the price that others are willing to pay. A lot of very wealthy people have been taken advantage of by consumers who were willing to pay more, and ooh, you got me this shirt at a much lower price than I was willing to pay. But we don't look at it that way enough. It is well-off people who provide jobs. It is well-off people who organize philanthropies. Poor people can't do that. Please, don't listen to people who say tax the rich because they're rich. It's not a fair, and it's ultimately a non-prosperous thing. You have money. Money equals a sign of doing good for others. You worked hard and earned it. That means you're producing well. You sold something in a voluntary transaction. That means you're enriching somebody else's life. Don't go against it. Rich people don't take any more from the federal government than the rest of us. Why do you want to tax them more? I hope it's not because you're green with envy. Most of us aren't. Fortunately for America, most of us who aren't yet rich aspire to it and see these arguments of cut down the rich as being very anti-American. I have made more than $70,000 in only 6 years of my life. I'm 54. But I aspire to making $700,000 in some future years. Nobody should squelch that desire, because the only way I'm able to make money is by doing good for other people. My company has to serve people really well. We have to get better at SAT score improvements. We have to hire better and better tutors. Otherwise, we're going to fall behind. That's what greed and fear of going out of business, do for businessmen like me, and what they do for consumers like all of us. There are two economic enemies of Connecticut. One of them is the people who make it hard for business people to do business in Connecticut. And they are enemies because the consequences of their success are that we have minimal business left. Businesses go elsewhere. Businesses ship their jobs overseas. Far less commerce left for us, far fewer jobs in Connecticut. The other enemy are the people who don't like business in the first place. They're not just misguided in how to treat business. They want business to be gone because business is a sign of a capitalistic system that they don't want. They often mask themselves, well, maybe they're true in their selves, using the label green. Well, back to where we started. Green, which is a very good thing, has been misused by a party that calls itself Greens. Once started for the sake of protecting the environment, a very good thing, the Green Party is there to destroy the goodness of capitalism and really the greatness of America. They are enemies of both Democrats and Republicans who want to build up America for the good. They use the Democrat Party especially because in the name of the environment, which we all like, we all want to protect our water and our air, in their name, Greens will come down with legislation that they force on us. That's, for them, a way of getting at capitalism, because most of that legislation goes at larger property owners, company owners that are doing good things, and their regulations are squelching them. Please do not adhere to this opaqueness that the Green Party says, oh, in the name of green, when they're doing things in the name of themselves. Because here's the result. One more G word. Greek. Modern Greece has been turned into an economic basket case by marauders of capitalism. In the name of equality of condition, Greece, once a thriving place, has become the sick country in Europe. We don't want to go that route. Wholesome green, even more wholesome greed, will lead America back to a great place for every one of its citizens, even the environmentalists that call themselves the Green Party.